you end up selling those Draconic units and making gold, or do you still hold and greed?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. If he can make 10 and hold the Draconic units, obviously that's optimal, but if not, a lot of players would choose to move away from Draconic if they're not getting it online kind of by the middle of Stage 2 at this point. Speaking of Draconic, we're on board with Nukamuru, who is having his cake and eating it too. He has the Draconic, so he's going to build up his economy that way. He is also on a win streak at 100 HP. He is in a tough spot, though, against Hwan Mi specifically, who has that Kha'Zix jumping to the back line. And it's a buddy system, though, that Ashe is going to be able to protect that Kha'Zix damage, but that Kha'Zix is wailing away just with the auto attacks, not able to do fatal damage on that first cast, but it doesn't matter, able to clean up the back line. It is going to be a fight win for Hwan Mi, and Nukamuru is going to have his win streak snapped.
Yeah, that's really big. Well, you know, in the end, still has the economy to back it up because Draconic has what looks like to be a 3-turn egg.
Moving over to Robin's board, this is something we talked about last game, that the 6 skirmisher mid-game has become increasingly popular. I know you've seen it in some of your games. We've been talking about it a lot. It has a lot of power going up against Mbappe. Be interesting to see how this board performs. I think we're going to be pleasantly surprised.
Yeah, 6 skirmisher is still pretty solid because there's not a lot of burst damage that comes out in these comps at this point of the game, with the exception of Aphelios trying to make it happen with the Dark Vigil. But that being said, that extra HP that you get from the skirmishers, 4 units end up surviving, so Robin able to take the tempo by the horns and start putting himself in the driver's seat.
Moving on board with Dudu, who does take that very powerful Draven with a bow off of the carousel and trying to build around that. He is in a tougher spot than we've seen from him today at 60 HP. He is very likely to wind up with a big roll down on stage 4-1. The Radiant Armory will also be critical for him because his itemization is not in the best overall place. Can he get a big damage item? Can he get a really impactful utility item?
Yeah, based off kind of what I'm seeing here on his item combinations on his bench, he could end up just taking a very big damage amplification item because he does have attack speed, he does have some heal sustain. Oh,
these were not the droids he was looking for, Dan.
Yeah, so he was looking for things that add more attack damage, basically, right? Like Zenith Edge, we're talking about like Deathblade. These are some really powerful options as a disposal. Even Demon Slayer ends up instead going for the Rapid Light Cannon. Now, Rapid Light Cannon does give Draven a bunch of safety from the back line. And it's going to be a little bit tricky. Catching up with El Tomo, who was playing that high-tempo style originally, now has Tristana 2 carry, utilizing Tristana as an item holder. And this is something that we don't see too often, actually.
Yeah, it's not something we see very often. People are really not favoring Cannoneer carries as a transitional board. Tomo, I do think it has found in a ton of success. This is a very Tristana-looking Aphelios. Clearly, he wants to wind up in Aphelios, maybe Auction if he can get there. But at 88 HP, he has preserved a ton of his health pool to be able to make that transition. It is worth noting Aphelios is going to be very contested in this lobby. We see Nukamuru has rolled down and has 2 Aphelios. We just saw Robin has an Aphelios on his board as well. So, you know, Tomo knows the direction he wants to go to, but will the units be available when he gets there?
Yeah, and you can see that the big Dark Vigil just ends up wiping all of his units out. There's just too much frontline from Nukamuru.
Yeah, absolutely. And Dudu, meanwhile, rolling all the way down on level 8. He desperately needs to find an upgraded KO. This KO 1 will put out a meaningful amount of damage, but it is so squishy in this lobby. He's able to find an upgraded Jax. It's a little bit more frontline. I am very nervous for Dudu's position here. These KO items are not great. You really prefer to have a Rage Blade in order to ramp up. It's not that they're bad. They're just not outstanding, and he does not have the best frontline overall. Just a Rel 1, Nautilus 2. That Jax is a big upgrade, and that Lucian is wailing away on the KO. The first cast is not enough, but there is the Thresh Hook coming through. The Thresh Hook actually pulls the KO away, so now it's not the furthest unit anymore. The Lucian is firing away on the back line, but hey, that squishy KO in the middle of the fight is eventually going to go down. El Tomo, who we talked about looking for that Aphelios, plays...
We're hopping on board with Robin Songs, who's at 5-1. And is he green to go to level 9? Oh my
god.
If this is a level 9 push, this is him for trying to go for a top 2, top 1 finish. He has 88 life. Okay, he's going to continue. He's going to roll. He scouted a little bit. He has got information says, I can't just stay and rest on my laurels. I need to see if I can improve my board state. The problem is, he did just roll a good amount of gold and did not materially improve his board right now. And also has a couple of floating items. As Diana is in the position to Moonfall in the back line, trying to use the Archangels. The Moonfall misses the Vel'Koz. The Nightbringer shield not enough, but the Dark Vigil at least cleans up a couple of units, so not a huge loss here for Robin Songs because some of these units are summons. But his job isn't done. Robin, by rolling and not improving, is not committing to level 9. He needs to find a way to stabilize his board.
Yeah, and meanwhile, taking a look at Nukamaro, who is eliminating Dudu in 8th place and fight winning. Meanwhile, Scipius is just taking a Vel'Koz too, and this is the exact reason I said I was worried about this man. This board has all of the right units, or most of the right units, but just not the right items. It's just so hard for him to do damage here. He reforges, he gets a Gunblade. Okay, this is not the best version of Vel'Koz that we've ever seen, but it is better than what he had.
That was insane. He reforges the Redemption, hits the Gunblade, and now has a scalable way to actually transition. Yes, it's not the best items on Vel'Koz, but he has Gwen. He has an opportunity. He has it out. Let's find out if he's going to be able to live to that point here. Scipius is down to his last life, going up against Juanmi, that Mistral. Not super impactful, as it's just targeting in the back. Akshan Heroic swings back over the Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz beam not able to get it done. And Skip had a very cool improvisational board. But that has earned him a hard 7th. But enough about that. Let's go ahead and check in back once more with El Tomo. And going with the solo Galio front line. I mean, those are some good items. Gargoyle Stoneplate, you know, that does allow Galio to tank for a ton with the Renewer emblem. A little bit awkward with the 3 Knights, but just took that Knight emblem anyways, because I think that was his best choice in his mind. See if he can rearrange Zephyr Chase. Some positional swaps, ends up choosing a front center, or rather back center Lucian, front centering his Jax. He tries to see if he can target a frontliner with the Zephyr. ends up hitting the Vel'Koz, and the Calling's getting able to work, and by the time the Vel'Koz comes down, not able to cast in a timely manner, the Doombringer does end up stalling just for a little bit of time, but it's just not enough damage, Bryce.
Yeah, this is the same problem over and over again for Mbappe. He does have a lot of units left alive, and the Abomination is in front of this Lucian. Lucian does have a Deathblade stacked up, but there you go. Mbappe able to take a fight win, a really big deal for him. I think he's absolutely in a good spot to do it. Meanwhile, going on board with Robin, who still has Aphelios 1. We said it. The whole lobby is looking to play Aphelios, and Robin is having a heck of a time completing his primary carry here, and he has to keep rolling. It's so unfortunate. And this is really the difference. You saw Nukamaro in a similar spot to Robin, is able to high roll. He hits the Aphelios 2, and he's able to go to 9, and will be looking to cap out that board. Meanwhile, Robin has been rolling on level 8 since the beginning of time, it feels like. And just to rub it in, here we go. He gets to play Nukamaro, who is holding the extra Aphelios on the bench. It is so punishing to Robin, but Robin positions beautifully, gets that Diana onto his opponent's Aphelios with that Frozen Heart, with the Legionnaire Spat. It is able to do meaningful work, and Robin says, I will take an Aphelios 1, and I will out-position you, Nukamaro, and I will win this fight as a result. Beautiful play from Robin, not getting frustrated by the fact that he's unable to complete his carry.
And even then, minus 19 seems unlikely. Juanmi takes a pretty significant loss, though.
Yeah, Tomo... I really don't like this play from Tomo. I really feel like he needed to think about transitioning his carry. There is the third copy of KO if he had been able to play towards that out. I understand that he's got this 6-sentinel Lucian, but the reality of the situation is this board is going to struggle, I think, against the Aphelios boards in the long run, although it really does come down to positioning. If he's able to land those Zephyrs, if he's able to get the Lucian in position where it can ultimate onto the Aphelios earlier in the fights, that can be such a big deal. Nukamaro also going for Aphelios 3. He upgrades the Volibear. Nukamaro is capping out his board and is going to be very, very scary. Last time Tomo was able to fare well, but Nukamaru's board has fundamentally changed. Will it be enough to net a fight win?
Oh, here comes the Moonfall and the big Doombringer to rearrange it. Daisy Shockwave gonna add just a little bit extra tankiness, and the Dark Vigil finishes off almost every single unit. Goodbye, Tomo. Sayonara. Slightly down the center.
Oh, Diana's positioned perfectly.
Okay, but the Doombringer is going to come down a little bit early as well, but the double spell shield, the Banshees, the big Moonfall. Aphelios is down on the other side. Gwen is also a big threat of damage as well, so don't discount that. But here comes Robin Songs, and his positional advantage mean everything. It does. Robin Songs is able to get the win over Nukamaro. And it's lethal double kill for Liquid Robin Songs in game number 4. He is back in the competition.